today we're going to show you how to make soap. I am going to be making a calendula soap. I have my calendula steeping with the petals, been there for about 5 weeks. We have lemon balm that I had infused, castor oil, lye, distilled water, wild turmeric powder. I have Young Living's Joy essential oil because I wanted that smell. And I have a shea butter and a coconut oil. So we're about to show you how we make a basic calendula soap. He is measuring out 200 grams of coconut oil. I like to buy the coconut oil in this bigger container, Nativa brand, but of course any coconut oil works. We do not use fractionated, we just use the regular coconut oil. Check out our crock pot. It's a football crock pot that my cousin gave us. We put the coconut oil in the crock pot and we are gonna let that melt. This is our shea butter. We are going to go ahead and do 40 grams of the shea butter. So we're gonna go ahead and get the 40 grams together, and then later we are gonna add another 40 for an equal amount of 80 grams of shea butter. We are also adding this to the crock pot to melt with the coconut oil. This is the hot process method. We are adding distilled water, 289 grams. There we go, perfect. We're now gonna add the 112 grams of lye. You can wear gloves if you want and all that good safety stuff. My husband is immune to danger, and so he thinks. So that was 289 grams of water, distilled water, and 112 grams of lye. We are now incorporating the lye and the distilled water. When you do this, make sure you're outside doing this. I don't know if you can see the steam, but the steam is coming out. This is very, very hot stuff. Little fact, your lye, your soap actually won't really include much lye. It actually, the chemical reaction cooks it out.
And always add the lye into the water and not the water into the lye.
Yes. But you will not have soap unless you include lye. We are now going to add 480 grams of my calendula oil. We have to use a strainer because I haven't strained the oil yet. And whatever I don't have, I'm going to add lemon balm oil. So these both were infused with olive oil. Calendula has amazing properties for your skin, so I absolutely love using it.
Close with me.
It's gonna be close. Look at all that beautifulness. It's our dog hacking, my word. We might have it. It's 428 right now. And we need 480. We had enough. 480. Yay! I'm super excited about that. And we have some more to spare. I'll just be straining that really good for maybe a salve or something. We are now adding 40 grams of castor oil. Castor oil is also an amazing component for your skin. I really want to make sure that our soaps, even though they are for cleaning, I want to make sure there's nothing super harsh on our body. As best as I can anyway. As he's mixing that, this is still melting down. Just added it all to the crock pot mixture. And what are we gonna do next?
Now we got to bring it up to about 112 degrees, and we got to let the lye cool off to 10 degrees within each other, and then we add them together.
Now that everything else is incorporated, and before we add the lye, we are going to go ahead and get that other 40 grams of shea butter melted. Just a little bit more. So why do we incorporate this after?
So after the soap comes to trace, we add this extra fatty oil to it because it actually cuts the lye. It makes it less harsh on your skin and stuff.
Super cool. 40 grams. We just measured the lye and it was about 135, and it should be within 10 degrees of 112. And we're checking the oil. That needs to be within, what is it?
The oil's supposed to be at 112 roughly, and then the lye is supposed to be 10 degrees within that by the time we incorporate it.
Gotcha. He's my chemical mixer guy. I won't let him get a motorcycle, so this is as close to danger as what's allowed. We've got the shea butter melting on our stove. Look at that. Nice. Whatever works, right? So this stuff is at about 120, and that lye is at
124,
yeah,
almost 125, so it's within 10 degrees.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna mix the lye into our oils and fats.
And you want to pour it kind of to the side, that way it doesn't make a bunch of like air bubbles and stuff, because less air bubbles the better your soap consistency is.
Remember, this is hot. This is hot. If you don't already have one, highly recommend having an emulsion blender. This one is pretty awesome. I got it from Amazon. The brand is Mueller, M-U-E-L-L-E-R.
A friend gifted it to you.
Oh yeah, you know what? We did get it off Amazon, but my friend Jess, she's absolutely amazing. She bought that for us because she knows I've always wanted one. You are exactly right.
I'm right sometimes.
Getting it all properly mixed, and this is when we're gonna try to get it to the multiple phases that it goes through. The first phase is what is the first phase? Like a custard?
Yeah.
It's almost like a pudding.
Yeah, so what this is called is bringing it to trace. So you have a medium trace and a light trace. And what that is basically whenever you lift up the emulsion blender, you see how it's like still really watery? You're gonna get it more to, like she said, like a custard look, and it's gonna hold more form, and then that's when you add the other fatty oil.
It's gonna go from like a custard to an applesauce. To the final being like a Vaseline. Don't get discouraged, this takes some time. That's about there, that custardy like look.
So, try to save all that goodness.
Yep. We are adding our shea butter, the 40 grams So total, like I said, it'll be 80 grams of the shea butter. And you can replace the shea butter with any butter you like. Mango butter, cocoa butter, you know, it's just, this is what I like. This is the recipe we use quite often. I'm gonna incorporate it real easily. All right, nice and incorporated with the shea butter. Look at that color too, it's beautiful. It's gonna be even more yellow when I add turmeric. I plan on using some turmeric because it's gonna be more like a skin loving soap. We are gonna put the lid on and allow our football crock pot to cook this for some time. And we'll check on it and see if it's reached that applesauce stage, and we will mix it again until it completes the cycle and goes to like the Vaseline look. All right, guys, you see that? That is actually going into like the applesauce stage. And then right after this stage is going to be Vaseline. This took, I don't know, I want to say like 15, 20 minutes. So don't get discouraged again if it takes a while. You gotta be patient. And with the hot process method, you can use this soap right after it's made, after probably like 24, a little bit longer hours. It's just gonna be soft. So the longer you let it cure, the harder it will get. But it is safe to use once you make this. We usually wait about, I don't wanna say like 5 days until we use it. All right, guys, look at that. It's all fluffy. That is pretty much getting to that Vaseline stage. It's gonna sound almost foamy. Look at that, you see that? There we go, that's a better shot. So what are we doing now?
Now we gotta add the clay and the fragrance.
Which today, usually I use clays, but today we're gonna do turmeric. So what I did was, it looks kind of gross. I mixed some turmeric with my essential oils. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add that now. A lot of the time essential oils have a flash point, so you're gonna get steam everywhere. But what I've found is it's still gonna smell like that essential oil, maybe just not that much. So if you want it to be heavily fragrant, you're going to want to go ahead and do that when it's just a little bit cooler. You're gonna want to mix this pretty well so that it's well incorporated with the soap. And the color will change depending on what you're putting in here. The turmeric is going to definitely give it more of a darker yellow, sometimes even orange tint. If you're not using essential oils, you can also use a fragrance oil. You're going to use more fragrant oil than you are going to use essential oils, from what I found. But again, like I said, the fragrance, I don't like it super, super heavy. Look at that, that's beautiful. It looks very sloppy and orange right now, so sometimes the color will change as it cools in the mold. And that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna put this in the mold and we are gonna let it sit until tomorrow. 24 hours is pretty much a lot of the time that people, that's when they usually take it out to ensure that it is cool and not as sticky. Sometimes we'll even do it after like 12 to 18 hours, and we found it's just as good, not a huge deal. I like to stamp my soaps, so I want it soft enough to where I can stamp our business initials. As he's scooping this, there's gonna come a time where we are going to pretty much drop this on the counter or table multiple times to get those air bubbles out. That's super duper important if you don't want a bunch of like air bubbles and holes in your soap. See that? Adding all the good stuff. So with hot process soap, you're not gonna get a ton of the really pretty tops that you would get with a cold process. But you know, it's still beautiful to me. Even the rough, rugged look, I think is gorgeous in my opinion. We're gonna drop it a couple more times. So you see that white-ish part? That was some that was kind of crusted a little bit. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that in the soap to give those bars some color. Okay, so you can kind of scoop all this down a little bit. This is a lot of good stuff. I don't want to waste it, you know. I'm gonna do this on this side. Okay, and now I'm gonna just do a simple little press down. And this soap should be ready in about 24 hours, whenever I feel like cutting it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna give you a show of what the bar looks like in a second.